Today's reflection from St. Peter's, Wellesbourne is from our Lent book, The Living Cross.
Tuesday, the 2nd of March, Disaster at the Door. 1 Samuel chapter 25, verses 23 to 25, verse 28 and 30 to 33. When Abigail saw David, she quickly got off her donkey and bowed down before David, with her face to the ground. She fell at his feet and said, "Pardon your servant, my lord, and let me speak to you. Hear what your servant has to say. Please pay no attention, my lord, to that wicked man Nabal. He is just like his name. His name means fool, and folly goes with him. And as for me, your servant, I did not see the men my lord sent. Please forgive your servant's presumption. The Lord, your God, will certainly make a lasting dynasty for my lord, because you fight the Lord's battles, and no wrongdoing will be found in you as long as you live. When the Lord has fulfilled for my lord every good thing he promised concerning him, and has appointed him ruler over Israel, my lord will not have on his conscience the staggering burden of needless bloodshed, or of having avenged himself. And when the Lord your God has brought my lord success, remember your servant." David said to Abigail, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me. May you be blessed for your good judgment, and for your keeping me from bloodshed this day, and from avenging myself with my own hands."
Abigail is a popular name for Christians to give their daughter, not only because it means father's joy, but because the Bible calls this character in 1 Samuel intelligent and beautiful, reference 25:3, with her actions bearing out the description. Not so flattering is the name Nabal, meaning fool, an apt moniker for the surly and inhospitable man depicted here. It may be that the narrator gave this nickname to him, or that he became what he was named. Abigail acts quickly to avert disaster for David. When he and his men were rebuffed by Nabal, not shown the traditional hospitality in return for the protection they had provided for Nabal's animals, David immediately turned to the sword in vengeance, verses 7 to 13. Abigail, however, knows that David is a future king, something he seems to have forgotten. She points out how damaging a mass slaughter would be for his reputation. Perhaps she also senses how hungry the army must have been, and how David's stomach may have been driving him into a rash decision. After she arranges a generous gift of food for him and his men, verse 18, David, appeased, relents. Abigail then chooses the right time to tell her foolish husband that she has saved his skin. Not the same night when he's partying and drunk, but the next day when the wine has drained out of him. His life force drains away too, and 10 days later he dies, leaving Abigail free for David to ask her to marry him. Although she is one of several wives, she will be an asset to him in wisdom and beauty. Her act in seeking pardon may be calculated and made on behalf of another, but it proves a wise and humble way to promote peace and accord. David also shows that he has the strength of character to change his mind when he's wrong. He doesn't have to dig in his heels in an immovable stance. The future king has a pliable heart, willing to take counsel from someone who at that time would not have been seen as his equal. We can take heart from this story not only about the life-giving nature of forgiveness, but also about the way a humble person can avert disaster on behalf of another, whether a spouse, family member, colleague, or close friend. Standing up for what is good and right, with grace and winsomeness, can bring about an ending far different from the one that may have happened otherwise. Triune God, you have bequeathed me your wisdom and grace, for I am made in your likeness. May I embody truth with grace, and may I approach tricky situations not with a defensive spirit, but with humility and a generous nature. May your Spirit in me work to promote the healing of relationships and peace. I boldly ask that international disasters might be averted through the kind of grace that Abigail showed to David, that when leaders meet, trust might be established and amicable agreements reached. I long for your peace to reign on this earth as it does in heaven. Amen.